Have you ever had that moment like when you're teaching English and you're trying to get a class going,
Yeah.
especially with older teens and adults?
Right?
You want to go a bit deeper than just like, hey, how are you? You want to get a real conversation flowing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of you listening out there, maybe you're teachers yourselves, maybe you're helping someone learn English or just curious about how to make it happen. But how do you find those materials that actually get people talking in a way that's like genuinely interesting?
That's the key, isn't it? It's finding that balance where learning feels more like a good conversation and less like just, hitting the books, especially if you want people to stay motivated, right?
Exactly. And that is exactly what we're going to unpack today. We're diving deep into a resource that uses something pretty much everyone loves, music.
Oh, nice.
We're going to be looking at how songs, especially songs with lyrics that actually have something to say and videos that, really grab your attention, can be amazing tools for English as a second language learning or ESL.
Makes sense. I mean, music kind of gets to us on so many levels, right? Our emotions, memories, and of course, understanding language. It's all tied in.
Yeah. And to help us explore all of this, we've got two main sources.
Okay.
First up, the Song Activity Factory website. Their whole deal is about giving ESL teachers, and hey, that might be you listening right now, these super creative lesson plans that are all built around music.
Interesting.
Their big promise. Not only do these plans get your students really engaged, but they'll also save you a ton of prep time. So let's dig in, shall we? Why exactly does music have this almost magical ability to get people talking, especially when it comes to learning English?
Well, as Song Activity Factory points out, music just grabs our attention and holds on to it. Think of a song you really love, even if you don't catch every single word. There's something about the melody, the rhythm, the whole vibe that draws you in.
Right.
And for someone learning a language, that can make a huge difference. Suddenly, it's not about struggling through exercises, it's more about exploring something you actually enjoy.
Absolutely. I mean, wouldn't you rather figure out the lyrics to a catchy tune than, stare at a grammar textbook?
For sure. Plus, Song Activity Factory also points out that music naturally brings together different language skills, listening obviously as you try to understand what's being sung, but also speaking when you discuss the lyrics or the message of the song. And it goes beyond those basic skills too. Song Activity Factory mentions how music can even connect with those 21st century skills everyone's talking about, and using technology. A lot of their resources probably use online tools, which gets people interacting with the material in new ways.
And then, when you start digging deeper into lyrics, you've got cultural references, different emotions being explored, even storytelling.
It all adds up to this wider understanding of the world, which is pretty essential these days.
It really is. And it's really great? Song Activity Factory has all these free resources that are tailored for different levels of English. It's not just one size fits all, which is so important. They've got some fascinating examples of the kind of stuff they offer too, like focused listening activities where you really zero in on certain parts of the song, grammar games that are like built into the lyrics, and even quizzes based on specific songs.
Ooh, quizzes. That's a fun way to learn. I like that. It shows they're using music people are actually listening to, but they're also teaching important language concepts through it. It's like a bridge between what students enjoy and what they need to know.
And what's super handy for teachers is that you can find all these activities organized by CEFR level, or even by the singer on Song Activity Factory's website. So if your students love, say, Ed Sheeran, boom, you can just search for him and see what comes up. Or if you need something specifically for B1 level learners, you can filter it that way. It saves so much time.
Which brings us to our next point, right? How Song Activity Factory can be a lifesaver for busy ESL teachers. Making interesting lesson plans that actually work, it takes time and effort.
Oh yeah, it's a real commitment.
And not every teacher has hours to spare, especially if you want to bring in music creatively.
Yeah, teachers are juggling so much already. Multiple classes, paperwork, meetings. So having a resource that's ready to go, like Song Activity Factory, that's a game changer. It takes away that barrier of, oh, I don't have time to make this work. All right, so we've talked about why music is such a powerful tool in ESL and how Song Activity Factory makes it all practical. Now let's get into that top 10 list of songs that are supposed to be absolute conversation starters. The criteria for choosing these songs are pretty interesting. They had to have lyrics that really mean something and often a strong music video that goes along with it. The idea is that these things combined just draw people in and make them want to talk about what they're seeing and hearing.
I get it. The video adds another dimension, especially for those who might not feel totally comfortable just talking about lyrics. It gives them something concrete to focus on.
Right. So kicking off the list at number 10 is I Need to Wake Up by Melissa Etheridge. This song actually won an Academy Award for Best Original Song back in 2006. It's all about taking responsibility for our planet, facing the consequences of what we do.
That's a heavy topic, but super important. It could lead to discussions about environmental issues, personal responsibility, what impact we have on the world.
Totally. And at number 9, we have Stop Crying Your Heart Out by Oasis. This one deals with some pretty deep stuff. Yeah. Depression, loss, friendship, hope, even despair. The blog post even mentions that the ending of the music video is pretty intense.
I can see how a song like this, if approached thoughtfully, could create a safe space for people to talk about these emotions, Maybe even help them process some things.
Yeah, definitely. And the video adds another layer to it. Could lead to some really thoughtful conversations.
I bet.
Okay, moving on to number 8. Dear Mr. President by Pink. This is described as Pink's very direct message to then-President George W. Bush. It touches on politics, LGBTQ+ rights, homelessness, and war.
Oh, that's a politically charged one.
It is, but it also shows how music can be used to talk about those big social and political issues that we face.
For sure. And for adults especially, those issues are part of their everyday lives. It could get some really interesting conversations going, encourage them to express their own views in English.
Right. And at number 7, it's One Last Breath by Creed. This one explores themes of death, love, the afterlife, religion, all with some heavy symbolism and a powerful music video.
Those are like the big questions, the things that people have been grappling with forever.
Exactly. It gets to the core of what it means to be human, and that's something everyone can connect with, no matter your background. And then we've got Handlebars by Flowbots at number 6.
Yeah.
This one sounds super interesting. It covers oppression, peace, war, the whole big brother idea, friendship, politics, power, symbols, the whole shebang. And it's all told through this amazing music video about two friends who take very different paths.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. It seems like there's so much to unpack there. The symbolism, the story, how it connects to the world today. Lots of potential for discussion. Then at number 5, there's Fake Plastic Trees by Radiohead. This one dives into that feeling of living in a world that's fake, superficial, and the pressure to conform.
Oh, that's so relatable. I think a lot of people, especially young people, feel that way sometimes. I can see how this one could lead to discussions about identity, societal expectations, trying to find real connections.
Absolutely. Then coming in at number 4 is Rocket Man by Elton John. Now, this song was released back in 1972, but they say it's still brilliant and super relevant today. And this song deals with fame, addiction, and even immigration. It's like it's aged like fine wine.
It's amazing how some songs can be written so long ago, but still speak to us today. I bet students would be fascinated to talk about how views on these issues have changed over time, or maybe how their own experiences relate to the song.
Yeah, tons to discuss there. All right, we're getting close to the top. At number 3, it's Carry You Home by James Blunt. This one's interesting because it's open to interpretation.
Oh, I like that.
They say it could be about someone with cancer, a failing relationship, or even war.
Wow, those are very different interpretations.
I know, right? And they suggest having students guess the meaning before they actually see the music video.
That's a great way to get people thinking critically and expressing their opinions.
Exactly. It makes them really pay attention to the lyrics and try to figure out the message. And then the video adds another layer, so there's even more to talk about.
Very clever.
Now for number 2, we have the classic Losing My Religion by Rem.
Oh, that's a good one.
Apparently, it consistently gets students talking. And like Carry You Home, it has multiple interpretations. Is it about a stalker? Or maybe someone struggling with their sexuality? And they suggest holding off on showing the music video until the very end.
Such a good teaching technique, keeping people engaged and curious.
And finally, drumroll please. The number 1 pick for sparking conversations is Tears of the Dragon by Bruce Dickinson.
Bruce Dickinson, like from Iron Maiden. That's awesome. Never would have thought of Iron Maiden for an ESL lesson.
They say it's a fan favorite for getting people talking. It's about facing your fears. There's lots of symbolism with ice and cold, and the video ties in really well with the lyrics.
Sounds pretty epic.
It does. And the big question the blog post poses is, why is the dragon crying?
Ooh, I like that. It gets people thinking, analyzing, coming up with their own interpretations. This whole list is just brilliant. It shows that music can be so much more than just entertainment.
Absolutely. And, the blog post even mentions that even though some of these songs might be considered old by today's standards,
Yeah.
they're so well written and the themes are so universal that they're really timeless, especially for adults who can connect with those deeper meanings.
That's a good point. I mean, we still listen to classical music, right? It's
And-
because it speaks to something deep within us, something that transcends time.
Exactly. And at the end of the post, they even encourage readers to share their own favorite conversation-starting songs.
Oh, that's nice. It's like they're building a community of teachers who are passionate about using music in their lessons.
So to sum it all up, it's pretty clear that songs can be an amazing way to get those ESL conversations flowing. They're packed with meaning, they evoke emotions, and they give you a glimpse into different cultures.
And they're fun. Let's not forget the fun factor.
Absolutely. And for you listening out there, if you're an ESL teacher looking for fresh ideas, Song Activity Factory seems like a must visit. It's free, practical, and it can save you so much prep time. So go check it out, explore those different categories, and see if those top 10 songs spark any ideas for your own lessons.
And maybe even think beyond those 10. What other songs have you found to be great conversation starters?
That's a great question. And on that note, here's a final thought. Music clearly connects people across cultures and generations. But what other, maybe less obvious things could we be using to create those meaningful learning experiences and bring people together? Something to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.